Well, we're here now again in the Rural TV studio, and joining me now is Sharon Angus from Silver Fern Farms. Welcome along, Sharon.
Thank you.
What's your role?
General Manager Marketing at Silver Fern Farms.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been with Silver Fern Farms, Sharon?
Over 3 years now.
Coming across from?
Well, Fonterra, before that mainland cheese, so worked in the dairy side for quite some time, 20 years.
Yeah.
In fast-moving consumer goods marketing, and came across to the meat industry, which is very different.
Yeah, so you'd have a lot to offer coming over from there?
And you know, different industries, but a lot of the same principles. They're very much about adding premium to not having commodity products, adding premium to products,
yeah.
Premium value, and that's what the meat industry is trying to do as well.
Yeah. Now, the philosophy with Silver Fern Farms, with the plate to pasture as opposed to the pasture to plate, can you just explain that a bit, please?
Well, it's plate to pasture is, and I think it was created before I came in. I think it's a great philosophy because I'm all about the consumer.
Yeah.
Rather than the other end of at the pasture end. And plate just means that you haven't got any products to sell if you haven't got a consumer that's willing to buy them.
Yeah.
So it means focus on your consumer first, your target markets in each market that you're targeting, and make sure that you have the right value offering that suits that consumer.
Yeah. And is this your passion, the marketing side of it?
Oh, it's definitely my passion. I love it. Have loved it all my life, really, my working career. But actually getting into the heads of consumers and working out their psyche and why they'll pay more for some product and why they won't for others is probably my passion.
Yeah. So a lot of taste testing.
A lot of taste testing. Venison's an interesting one because people aren't used to actually the flavour of farm venison. There's an expectation from a consumer that they'll get a very gamey product. And of course farm venison's not. It's a beautiful, tender, sort of delicate taste. And I suppose it's actually making sure with venison that they're aware of what the farm product tastes like. Yeah.
And you've got some top chefs on the job helping you out in that department?
Yeah, we have. We actually started last year doing what we call a Premier Selection Awards. And, you know, our hero products like Savannah and venison is what pulls through the rest of the category. We have reserve in beef and we have Celere, Alpine Origin and lamb. So we ran a competition and got 73 top chefs in New Zealand, and the 11 finalists were all the hero products. So we had 3 venison, Savannah, we had 3 reserve and 3 Celere. So it was all those top, really premium products, and we've got chefs that are actually having conversations and talking about the product, which is the main thing you want, really, is for people to start talking about it and spread the word.
Yeah. So how are you going to get the likes of the Chinese to try it out?
The Chinese, well, I suppose there's, you know, there's a lot of talk about the China market, and there's a lot of opportunity, but in China, the consumption per capita of venison is incredibly small. So it's going to be like a new market and a new category. So it's going to be hard work over there. Whereas, I mean, obviously in places in Europe, there's a really high consumption per capita, and we have to make sure that we're up against the competition of Spain and Poland and doing our job as a New Zealand brand really well.
Yeah. Now, why is the dairy farming not taken off across the world?
Dairy farming, well, I suppose, you know, you've got to look on, I've been lucky enough to be on the steering committee for Brand New Zealand, and you've got to look at just our land and our the space that we have to actually have farming like we do. It's just very, very different in a lot of countries around the world. So, yeah. You know, we've got a huge competitive advantage by having this type of land to farm the deer on, and, you know, and our other species as well.
Yeah, and we're bits of pioneers.
Well, you could call us pioneers. I like to think we're modern creatives.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the packaging side of it, going to a bit of small packaging,
well,
changing a bit?
Retail packs, and I suppose we did a lot of research, and basically consumers like myself are very time poor. And they also have a lot of anxiety of cooking red meat. When they don't know how to cook something like venison, you know, they don't know that if you cook it overdone, it's actually going to be very tough, and it's such a beautiful product that you have to cook it quite rare. So what we decided to do with our small packs in lamb and venison, and we've just launched beef as well, is give the consumer more know-how on how to cook. So we've overpacked it and shown them what the cooked product would look like. Yeah. We've given them a lot of recipes, and we've developed a huge digital platform that they can go to and actually know how long to cook it for, what a rare product will taste like, what a medium product, and definitely with venison, I advise don't do it well done.
Yeah. So Sharon, you've got a fairly amazing retail range. Can you tell us about that?
Well, we launched in 2010 with the idea of meeting the needs of getting more awareness of venison with a larger market. And we launched with products like medallions, which are a really fast cook, 2 minutes each side and your meal's basically done, and minced and diced. And then we've sort of learned as we've talked to consumers at food shows that there's an older demographic that really needs to eat less red meat, and they want really high quality lean red meat, which venison answers all of those benefits to the older demographic. So we launched like a 220 gram steak, which is a very small health tick steak for the male and the female household, and it really meets their needs. We also launched a very small roast. I mean, older demographics like a roast, but they don't want a lot of leftovers anymore. So we've actually done a very small roast that's a portion for 2 or 3 people. Yeah. So we're finding that they're working really well.
Yeah. So Sharon, what have the farmers got to do to make sure that you can get value from the product?
Well, it's actually incredibly important. There's always been quite high standards in venison of what comes off the farm, but as we look to go into markets with Savannah more, and that's a really premium product, we've got to have strict rules on exactly what age, what weight, what the pH level is, to make sure that we can do everything we can to have the most tender product. So we've got to be working really closely with the farmers, our farmers, and make sure that we get the standards that the consumer's requiring.
Yeah, are they playing the game?
Oh, they definitely are. I mean, it's a hard market out there for the guys, there's no doubt about that, but the only thing that we need to do as marketers is make sure that we get those niche premium markets that will pay for the product.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.